And to offer more insights about Judge Amy Coney Barrett, we bring in Nicole Garnett, a law professor at University of Notre Dame, who's been a friend and colleague of Judge Barrett's for more than 20 years. Thank you so much for joining us, Professor.
Thank you for having me.
So you first met Judge Barrett in 1998 when you were beginning your clerkship with Justice Clarence Thomas and she with Justice Antonin Scalia. Does it surprise you now that she is now a Supreme Court nominee?
Well, I suppose if you look back to 1998, it would have been quite a surprise to both of us. But there are many of the characteristics and qualities that I saw in her as a 27-year-old law clerk, I think are the reasons and qualifications and characteristics that will make her an amazing justice. She's got a great legal mind. She's a person of great character. She's a person of humility. She's kind to everyone. She's compassionate. She impresses everybody. She works harder than everybody else. So I think, no, of course, would have been quite a surprise to us that she might have been nominated to the Supreme Court. In fact, I remember walking down the steps of the court. I can't remember if it was with her, but I remember walking down the steps of the court and later having a conversation with her about how that last day when you leave the court, you think, wow, that's about the coolest thing that's ever going to happen to me. So now to see my friend testifying before the Senate Judiciary Committee, to walk back up those steps 21 years later is really something, and it's really gratifying because she's so amazing.
And a super cool thing that's happening now as well. So you and many others speak about Judge Barrett's kindness, generosity, and relatability. She could also become the first mother of school-aged children on the Supreme Court. But since Judge Barrett vows to apply laws as they're written and defer to lawmakers, how much do you think that her personal qualities will really impact her rulings if her goal is to follow the intentions of policymakers and, in some cases, the founding fathers?
Well, of course, we all bring to our jobs many, many things that make us the people who we are. And the people who we are, that helps us to carry out the duties that have been given to us. And so I do think her character and her integrity, the fact that she is a kind and generous person and a loving mom will make her the kind of person who will become Justice Barrett. But she's made quite clear, of course, that her fidelity is first, foremost, and only to the rule of law, and that she'll follow the text as written, as her mentor, Justice Scalia, taught her to.
And Judge Barrett said today that a Supreme Court seat was not a position that she actively sought out and that she had to think carefully before accepting the nomination. Do you think that this was a difficult choice for her, and what may have held her back?
Well, I think, she's a mom of 7 kids. We live in a wonderful place full of a supportive community, and we help each other. I know that if she leaves, I'm going to really miss her. And I suspect that if they leave, they'll miss us, too. I think so. Of course, thinking about your family as a working mother, and I'm a working mother of 4 kids, really is always first and foremost when you're making decisions. What will this mean to my family? So I'm sure that it did weigh on her. She's perfectly pleased. She was great. She was very happy as a law professor. She didn't need to or seek out the 7th Circuit, and she certainly didn't seek this out. I think she said yes because she and her husband have decided this is something that they can do together as a couple, and also because she feels like she's called to answer to serve in the court. This is her duty. And her obligation is something that she is meant to be and meant to do. So I think all of those things were in the mix when she was thinking about it. And I'm sure she did give it careful thought.
As far as you know, does it give her any pause at all that her confirmation process comes just weeks before the election when millions of Americans have already voted?
So I haven't spoken to Judge Barrett about that particular issue. I will say it's not at all unusual for a president to nominate someone to fill a vacant Supreme Court seat in the last year of a presidential term. In fact, it's happened 29 times in history. And 19 of those times, the president and the Senate were of the same party, and the Senate confirmed in those 19 times all but 2 of the justices. So it's important to remember the president's the president. He's the president until the middle of January. The Constitution gives him the power to fill this vacancy, just as it gives the Senate the power of advice and consent. So the president has fulfilled he's exercised his power, and now it's the Senate's turn to decide how to exercise theirs.
And lastly, if confirmed, Judge Barrett would, of course, take the seat of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Should we assume that Judge Barrett's approach and her rulings would be the opposite of RBG's, or is there any aspect of Justice Ginsburg's legacy that Judge Barrett might try to continue?
Well, I think as she said today in her opening statement to the Senate, she is, and as am I, indebted to Justice Ginsburg, who we was a justice while we were clerking. She was a pathbreaker in the law for women, and we're grateful to her. I don't think we should assume anything other than what she's told us about how she will rule as a justice. And she's said that her jurisprudential philosophy is that of Justice Scalia's, which is that she will apply the law as written. She sees that a judge is not a policymaker, and that sometimes applying the law as written takes you to places that you might not otherwise like. I'm sure that happened with Justice Ginsburg as well. And I also think Justice Scalia and Justice Ginsburg are really big buddies. So I think we should really be careful before we make too many assumptions about people based on the party of the president who nominated them.
Fair enough. Our thanks to you for your time and your insight, Professor Garnett. We appreciate it.
Sure. Thank you very much. Have a nice night.
You too.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.